Okay, thank you, Remendi. Thank you, everybody here. Rabbi Blank, Rabbi Class, Kola Chodesh Adar. Just wanted to give a brief Devar Halacha. Cutting technology as it relates to Purim. A year or two ago, the cutting technology was Zoom, but there's new cutting technology. So I want to start the conversation, and I just want to emphasize that my role here in Igud is just as what other people say. There's no stock involved. It's called the Halacha Commission. I'm not passionate. I'm not qualified to. I can't fill the shoes. They call me the director because the chairman is a big shoes to fill. I'm not filling anybody's shoes. So just to get there's this thing if you called it NFT, a non-fungible technology, and I was thinking, can you give it for Shalach Manos? So if you ask 9 out of 10 Rabbonim, can you give NFT for Mishloach Manos? 9 out of 10 will say, what's an NFT? Okay, so I'll try to explain it to the best of my understanding. I'm not sure if I fully understand it. It's ownership, digital ownership of a digital product, a video, an image. So who owns it? You can become the owner. Other people can have it, they can copy it, they can send it around, but you're the owner. It's unique ownership. Some of the NFTs have sold for tens of millions of dollars. It's real money. Some have sold for pennies. Some have sold for nothing. Non-fungible token. So, can you get it from Mishloach Manos? So there are multiple. I'll address 3 studim of the Shaila. Number 1 is, can you give something that's not food for Mishloach Manos? So this is famously the Chasam Sofer has a tshuva on the subject. There are 2 opinions on what is the reason behind Mishloach Manos. You have the Trumas Hadeshin who was asked this question: can you give clothing for Mishloach Manos? And the Trumas Hadeshin, Chelik Aleph, Siman Kuf Yod Aleph, says no, because the whole point of Mishloach Manos is to give people food for the seudah. You can't eat clothing, so you're not Yosei the mitzvah. So, on the other hand, the Chasam Sofer quotes the Manos Halevi, Reb Shlomo Alkabetz, who says the reason behind Mishloach Manos is to be marbe shalom v'reus. Ish l're'ehu. So a person should give to his friend. So it's to create peace and unity and friendship and Klal Yisrael. Doesn't matter what you give. You give something, it has to be 2 minim, because manos, it has to be 2 items. And you give 2 items, you make someone happy, shalom al Yisrael. So you go to the mitzvah. So says the Chasam Sofer, the RAA Paskins, one of the nafkaminas, the many nafkaminas, is Purim Torah. What's the difference between the 2 opinions? Chasam Sofer says one nafkamina is if he's mochel. If you give a mishloach manos to somebody and he says no thank you, so you didn't give him food, so he doesn't have food for the seudah. So according to the Trumas Hadeshini not Yosei, if the point is to be marbe shalom b'v're'es, to increase peace and friendship, so yeah, you gave him something. He's very happy. He said no thank you, I don't need it. My house is full. But you gave something. So
want the carbs,
so you don't want the carbs. You're on a diet. Your wife already cooked. Your mother-in-law cooked. You don't want to offend her. You have to eat her stuffed cabbage. Otherwise, it's chaymisa. So thank you very much. So he points out the Ramah Paskins, if you're mochel on Mishloach Manos, the sender is Yotzei. Therefore, the Ramah is following the Manos Halevi and not the Trumas Hadeshin. And then therefore, in theory, you don't have to give food. You can give anything. Not like the Trumas Hadeshin. The Ramah Paskins like that. His Talmud, the Maharam Shik. There's a lot of exchange of letters between the Maharam Shik and the Machane Chaim. Chaim Sofer, they're not related, but 2 Talmidim of the Chasam Sofer. The Maharam Shik has a question. The question is a little complicated. If I send something that's us to me, but what to you, am I Yotzei? Setting that aside, the Maharam Shik says, how can something be us to one person and another? Fine, put that aside. But he says that if I give you Mishloach Manos, but you don't eat it, you choose not to eat it, you refuse to eat it, you have a minute not to eat it, whatever it is, I'm still Yosei. Why am I Yosei? Because I sent you something. According to Trumas Hadeshin, it has to be roi, it has to be worthy, you have to be able to eat it. But according to the Manos Halevi, as long as I'm marbe shalom v'reus, I gave you something, he said, thank you very much, I don't trust this hechsher, it's heter mechira, I don't eat the heter mechira, whatever it is, but I'm very happy. You tried. You put in an effort. You don't know my shigasin, so you put in an effort. So Yosef. So Maharam Shik is also paskening like the Manos Halevi. The Ksav Sofer has a question the other way. What if I send Mishloach Manos anonymously? I give you food, but I don't tell you who sent it. According to Trumas Hadeshin, I'm Yotzei because I give you food for your seudah. But according to the Manos Halevi, there's no Shalom V'reus. There's no Ish L'Re'ehu. You don't know who gave it to you. You don't know who. I have an anonymous admirer. That's not Marbe Shalom V'reus. So it says Ksav Sofer, you're not Yotzei if you send it anonymously. You have to give a name. So the Divrei Yisrael of Rabbi Yisrael Veltz, Yerushalayim, I think he was nifta maybe 30, 40 years ago, something like that. So he has a shayla, can you send Divrei Torah as Mishloach Manos? So going along the same lines as the Chassid Sofer, he says, yes, and he points out the Ramon's Hakdama to his Perush Megillas Esther Mechir Yain, says he wrote this to send to his father on Purim, Mishloach Manos. There's a tshuva of the Rabbi Yehuda Assad, the Yehuda Yala, in which he says to his friend, I'm sending you this tshuva as Mishloach Manos. Now, it could be he didn't mean it literally, he was just being friendly, but so it could be he meant it literally. And because you don't, anything that's Mar B'Shalom V'Reyus, I send you Divrei Torah, it makes you happy. I wrote this shtickle for you, so it makes you happy, Shalom V'Reyus, so you could be Yosei. And he says, so the Piskei Tshuvos, right? The Piskei Tshuvos is the contemporary sefer Simcha Rabbanovitz in Yerushalayim. So he says, he quotes all this, and he says, V'chein Amadover. That's the minhag. He's seen it. People do that. Yeah, you have to give. You have to give. We're on video. You have to give at least one Mishloach Manos of 2 types of food to somebody. Be Yosef according to Trim with Sadeshin. Everything beyond that, do what you want. Do it according to the Manos Alevi. Make your hadin. You can send Divrei Torah, you can send food. So maybe you could also send an NFT, digital copyright. Let's say I send you the copyright to my book. Probably not worth it. It's probably not Shava Pruta, my book. But if I send you the copyright to Harry Potter, that's that. So, but is it money? Is it Shava anything? So there's a Gemara in Kedushin Memzayin Memches that talks about if you're Mekadesh and Ish. Maisa Shahaya. Let's start with the Maisa Shahaya. This actually happened in Hungary in I think the 1860s maybe. A Chassan came to the chuppah, walked down the aisle. He didn't have the ring. Nobody had the ring. So his friend who was standing right there at the chuppah said, "Wait, I owe you money. Let's say $100. Be Mekadesher with the milva." With the rights, and then give her the rights to the loan, and then I'll owe her $100 instead. Mekadesh b'milva. Is that good or not? So that's a Ksav Sofer. So the Ksav Sofer says, the Gemara says, no, you cannot be Mekadesh with a milva, because if I transfer a loan to somebody else, if I give Rav Mendy a loan that someone owes me, and also I still have the right to be mochel. So that I could sell it to him. You could pay me money, but you're not going to pay me the full value, because the next day I could just be mochel the loan, and therefore he doesn't have to pay you anymore. But, says the Shulchan Aruch, what's the din if we do it b'mamet shloshtan? The borrower, the lender, and the person I'm trying to give it to is there all together, and then the borrower agrees he now owes the loan to Rav Mendy instead of to me. It's mamet shloshtan. So according to most Rishonim, that's good, but there is epis shita that it's not good. So the Mechaber said you have to be machmir. This in Even Ezer Siman Chav Ches, if you're Gimel maybe. So you have to be machmir. But says Ksav Sofer, but what does it mean to be machmir? He says when the Shulchan Aruch says to be machmir, he means if a woman is trying to remarry, she wants to get married again, you have to be machmir that was a good kiddushin and she needs a get. Otherwise, but because we're worried about the chumras of Eishes Ish, but there's one sheet in the Rishonim, 2 people are married, they went to chuppah kiddushin. Everything has shiva brachos. We're not going to make them remarry again. That's not what the Shulchan Aruch means when it says chumrah. Therefore, the Ksav Sofer paskin on that Maisa Shahaya, they don't have to give another kiddushin. They're married kedas Moshe v'Yisrael, because the milva, so it's future money. This is worth nothing. Technically, you're not actually giving her any money. It's the option. It's the possibility of future collection. Now, it could be the guy is broke and won't be able to pay, and she'll get no money out of it. But so it's possibility of future money. So I thought maybe you could be medama. Maybe you could be medama and saying NFT is the same thing. So NFT, I buy it. It has only value it has. It doesn't even have value if the paper is printed on, because it's not printed on paper. But it has value if I want to resell it. So I could pay $10 million for it, and then I could try to sell it, and nobody will want it. What's it worth? It's worth zero. It's only worth money.
Is it like Bitcoin?
There is a connection, but very remote connection to Bitcoin. It's really something separate. Let's say I buy the copyright to your next sefer, or to the sefer, the last sefer you printed. You already made all the thousands of dollars on the first sales, but whatever sales are left, so it could be worth nothing. It could be you'll never sell another book. It could be worth a lot. So I'll pay you for it, but what's it worth if I try to resell it? The only way you can tell how much it's worth is if I try to resell it. And something like this, if I try to resell it, it could be worth nothing.
Welcome with me.
So it's not clear to me whether this has any value at all. It's not even Shava Pruta. Even if I pay $10 million for it, maybe it's not Shava Pruta. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. But what I want to say is I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. So what's the shear of mishloach manos? How much do you have to give? How much food? Kazayis, kibetza. Well, how much is it? So the Rosh Yosef, the Pri Megadim, in his Parish on Megillah on Zayin Amud Aleph, so he says there is no shear on mishloach manos per se. It all depends. The whole idea is you want to be mechabed somebody. You want to give somebody honor and show your friendship. Whatever in that time and place is considered an honorable portion. It could be in this day and age in America and New York, it's a big portion, but it could be, let's say you're living in Russia 200 years ago. You get one piece of herring. I don't want to talk about other people suffering. I give a piece of herring. That would have been they say in the old days in Europe, a bar mitzvah was you put out a little herring and mazel tov your bar mitzvah. Not like today where you pay $10,000. So whatever it is in that time and place. So Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky in the Kovetz Halacha, it's published over the past 10 years. So it said in his name, it doesn't matter how much it's worth. It has nothing to do with monetary value. It could be shava less than a pruta. It could be less than a shava pruta. If it's mechobedik, it's something you've been chabed an oreach, a guest comes and you serve him it, even if it's worth less than a penny, you're still yosei the mitzvah. So maybe even if this NFT is worth nothing, if it's I give you an NFT and I mechabed you with that NFT, so if that's considered a covet and that's time and place, so then maybe you could be yosef with mishloach manos. However, the third side I was thinking is that you have to give both manos at the same time. Mishloach manos, it has to be one. Maisa, I give you 2 pieces of food. I give you clothing, I give you Torah, whatever I give you has to be at one time, 2 together. How do you give 2 NFTs at the same time? I don't know. Maybe the technology is possible, maybe it's not. I want to give you some donuts and an NFT. The NFT has to be electronic. I transfer you. The donuts I give you like this. I don't know. Could you do 2? So let's say the NFT is a picture of 2 pieces of food. That's not good enough. You need to give 2 NFTs. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Maybe the technology will exist soon. Maybe the technology already exists. We don't know. I'm not as savvy as some people. Sorry, Ian. So just starting the conversation. Mr. Shem will figure this out in time for Purim. If not this year, then next year.
Thank you, Rav Gil. Really a good